Welcome, this is Fishkin Snap, your new home for Marvel Snap Entertainment, and I hope this could be your spot for all things Marvel Snap, Decklist, and more. So the Decklist is going to be basically a Wiccan deck. You're going to use Quicksilver and Hawkeye to basically keep consistency throughout the deck, and Mobius regarding Shang-Chi's for the meta. Wiccan can set you up for turn 6s where you could play 2 4s or spit. A little disclaimer, this video was made before the OTAs, and I can say Wiccan is still good, but as I was saying, Alioth puts in a lot of work too. But let's head into this first match and we'll explain more on the way. So all these games would be with the Wiccan before the OTAs, but can't confirm the deck still works. They're pretty much the same, so no shame there. And let's get to watching these games. So most turns you will start with Quicksilver. You will need to play him down in order to kind of get your Wiccan combo starting. And I find when I don't draw the Hawkeye, Iron Patriot also provides a lot of consistency for this deck as well. Sure, the cards can be random, but giving it being a higher cost card into your hand could definitely provide you a lot of balance and things that could make your deck very hard to predict, you know. I will say Marvel Snap is a lot about knowing play lines, what the deck's going to do before you do it, and that's really my main tips on being decent or good at this game is really just knowing what to expect out of the deck, what your opponent's finna do, or even just playing well. So like turn 3 typically, if I could put down a Mobius, if I could put down a Red Guardian per se, it kind of works out. And now we're just seeing how Iron Patriot is just a really great card. We're able to use Alioth. I will say Alioth is probably my favorite turn 6 or cost 6 card, just because you don't expect it. What it could do to really deteriorate your opponent's plays is really one of one, and it's a really good, decent chunk of power as well. So look at that. Personally, I think that's what keeps me from playing Wave, just because it's not just a card that benefits you, it benefits your opponent as well. And you really can't predict that your opponent is going to play Alioth off their Wave, you know what I mean? So for example, this particular game, I didn't even really see Wiccan, but this deck was able to function without said Wiccan play. This is where Galacta gets a lot of work in, pairing with the Hawkeye. You just end up doing things that most decks can't do, like a 2/6 Hawkeye is pretty good, and you get the pluses in your hand as well. Gives you a lot of viability and different stuff to use in the hand. And now that Iron Man's asking to get Red Guardian, so. And biggest key, never forget how your cards play, because you'll see here, I'll play the Acid first and then the Red Guardian, just so I can get Galacta's effect off the Red Guardian, while also pairing it with location in order to get 2 Red Guardians. You know, double effect negation with, you know, power reduction's pretty good. You get a 3/6 Red Guardian. Iron Man can't do nothing. Exactly. And that is how you pull 8 cubes on your first match on your first YouTube video. So touching back on a previous comment, when I refer to meta, I refer to like, you know, really like the best cards or decks in the game at the moment. So to me, that would be really like Surtur, Arsham, Discard, and Move. So those would really be the 4 decks I think are really part of the meta as we speak. And then I would say Wiccan's like right there almost. I just think the right build or a right list will really get you pretty far, in my opinion. So those are my quote-unquote meta, if anyone was curious what I meant by that. And really, every single turn with this deck, it's really just going to be Quicksilver. For me, I always will lean towards a location not revealed first over the first location, depending on what it is. So in this instance, I wanted to take advantage of the first location being a pretty good spot, while also hopefully extending into a location that maybe my opponent couldn't play in the future sense. It's hard to say how this game will go. As you can see, I couldn't get my Wiccan off, so now you're really just playing with the good cards that are in your deck, like Gladiator. It's good at thinning out the deck of your opponent and figuring out what they're exactly playing, because like I said, to be good in Marvel Snap, you really want to know the play lines, like what is my opponent going to do. So for those who didn't have a guess of the deck, it looks like they're playing an Agent Venom bounce variant. Taking out Bishop's a good piece in their deck. I see they have Toxin, multiple Toxins in hand, so that could be really interesting. Usually if we had Wiccan situation, we would, extend there, but I rather like using things like Ares, because the fact is Ares tends to actually work a lot often with this deck. A lot of people will think that Ares being in a deck with not too much high volume or high power motors, that it wouldn't hit or work out as well, but found a lot of instances where it actually will hit and become very helpful for me. So this is pretty much as awkward as my hand can get. At this point, I don't like leaving energy on the table, but you don't really have a lot of plays here, so I think Red Guardian's my safest bet, just to eliminate any extra power he plans to get possibly in turn 6, but also hopefully my Iron Patriot will hit, so then I'll have another piece to possibly use in my turn 6. So we'll see how this goes. Used to be a big fan of Elsa Bloodstorm, but it just kind of depends on the circumstance and deck of how great that card can be. It's really interesting kind of situation we're in here. So that hinders all those plays there. That was actually a pretty good hit by Red Guardian. We were able to get the Iron Patriot. So now we are in a position to do things, but very limited, very, very limited. So as a snap player, this is where my biggest weakness comes out, is where I'm indecisive and I do not know when to retreat. But I feel like if I hold out, maybe, just maybe, and boom, there you go. My opponent was scared. I always love it when they retreat. I'll take the 1 instead of the 4, but honestly, don't worry, my friend, because
I won't forget you, buddy.
And we're back. I'm sorry, I had to include the meme. Venom 3 was a okay film, don't get me started, but hey, if you like Venom 3, go ahead and put that in the comments down there. So obviously your first turn play will be Quicksilver, but I do love this deck for this kind of hand in particular, to make sure you can hit your Wiccan combo. A lot of times I will lean to go turn 2 Hawkeye, because you will end up in the turn 3 situation to where you could play a Red Guardian or utilize one of Hawkeye's arrows with another cost 2 card as well. Puts you in pretty good nifty situations, and you can kind of take advantage of said situations. And you can even see that I almost went Iron Patriot there just because he is such a great card, but I wanted to utilize the arrows and my cost 2s with my turn 3 play, and as you can see, I will be able to do said thing, using Acid and Iron Patriot in the same location. It's actually pretty much a really good combination there. And for those wondering, this opponent is definitely playing a type of Zoo deck by chance. Zoo can be pretty good in my opinion. I typically don't play it myself because I haven't had much luck with it myself. I think I would utilize a Thanos Zoo build in the near future if that became something interesting per se. And now we can utilize Wiccan like we have been, like the last upper games, and now we can actually, show off this deck in its full capacity and full potential. I was indecisive about the arrow. I had energy remaining, but I just wanted to go the Wiccan the safest route possible. Blue Marvel's a great card. I just got that variant recently myself. And now we're in a really great position where our hand next turn is just going to be in a very great position. I mean, turn 5, you have 7 energy. You see me, I'm flooding the middle with mad power, and they can't do much with it. Nope, we'll cancel that out. We just change location up. We'll keep the Spider-Man 2099 in the middle. We'll put Ares on this left to extend here, and we're going to be looking good. And I'll even say sending him my acid just gave him another target that Marvel Boy would just end up hitting. So in a way, it actually helped me out this game. And now this is the position I like to be in. I got Galactica and basically got, 8 energy on turn 6. I can extend so many plays this way, and now you're seeing it. I mean, I will say dropping so many cards on turn 6 also kind of keeps it very hard to predict. I mean, dude, you really think I would drop a Red Guardian turn 6 to hit your Marvel Boy? And now you're in this predicament. Let's see, can we pull this out? And I believe we just took this. Yeah, Zoo, you can see that's a lot of prayer with that set right there. I mean, we barely squeaked that out. What can I say? One thing in Snap, people can kind of OG with the emotes, but for me, at the every game, you get a fist bump. I want to briefly take a quick moment just to say thank you for watching, and don't forget to like this video. So Sam Wilson, Captain America, is the season card of this month, and I do think he's pretty interesting. Some people have gone infinite with him. I personally haven't found the exact build for me yet with that card. I do find move decks have utilized that card pretty well. But getting back to the game, you could see that I got the ideal hand for this deck, where you basically got all your costs 1, 2, 3, and your Wiccan in hand. You're basically set up to have a really good game. As you can see, picked up the Mobius as well, so we will be able to establish some very high boards, I would say, in this game. So in situations when you don't know what costs 3 to play, I typically want to do what will bring the most damage to my opponent's plays. So I figured if I made the shield useless with the Red Guardian, really the rest of his play, the rest of this game would be basically just non-existent. I was just kind of banking on really just abusing the area. Even if I used Gladiator, I would have really just got 2 mils from his deck, possibly. Even just using Mobius wasn't really going to do much for me. So I see he put down Captain America. Me targeting his shield was actually a very good move by me. And now his shield will be basically useless on this right hand side. So at this point, you didn't get Iron Patriot off, but we were able to set up to where his shield is useless. I'm definitely going to Wiccan now to basically just give me the 7 energy on turn 5, and that would put me in a pretty decent position to really just go different routes with this deck. He does have the ability to still move his shield, but it won't really do anything for him, so we'll see. And I'm still trying to get a really good variant of Wiccan. This one isn't too shabby still, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly what they have planned, and that is really interesting. Beast is a really good card, but in that exact location, I just would see it as a hand filler. You're just flooding your cards or hands with a lot of beasts. I don't like clogging my hand too much, especially with the same card, unless it's in a red double dino deck, which I typically do run for fun. Going the hood there is kind of interesting. I mean, you do get some 1/6 demons, but he just lost that whole right location. So unless he Killmonger or something, I don't know exactly what he's going for here. But Wiccan puts us in this position to where we could basically put down an Ares and a Gladiator. That's actually a very great combination there. I mean, very high power cards, as you can see. And I just think Ares having certain cards that are really above that, like, really 5-6 area makes it a little bit underrated in this deck. I do know some people that have cut Ares out of this deck, and I think a lot of that has to do with the really just the card not winning quite all the time, which with so much starter out there, the Ares isn't going to win every single time with its effect. I just like having it here as an option per se, more so as leaning on it as a make or break for each game, you know. I think it's one of the best cards Marvel Snap has put out, honestly. Before that, to get like a 4 or 12 stat line, you really had to use like Beta Ray Bill, but you know, those kind of decks are pretty hard as well. So look at this. I do think we were able to scratch this one out, and yep, what a great match. What can I say? I mean, y'all see the board. You couldn't predict this like anybody else. I mean, this deck is so much fun, honestly. And I didn't want to make this video too long, but
Taking on this ride with me. You know what? Here go 2 more for y'all.
I had to include the Legoat James meme. But what can I say? I wanted to end this video with about 2 games, hopefully ending in 8 cubes, wins or losses. Let's you know, start this thing off with Quicksilver per normal regular gameplay, and let's go from here. And we're top deck our cost 2 Iron Patriot, so it looks like we have a great hand to win 8 cubes with. You know, Mobius, Wiccan, Quicksilver, any cost 2 in this deck typically is going to win you the game. And I can't stress enough how much Alioth puts in a lot of work. I know we haven't really seen too much of it today, but it's such a great card, and still my favorite 6 cost card in this game. So when I see Collector, my mind goes into either a discard deck or even possibly like those Agent of Shields, Iron Patriot with Victoria hand combos. But here, I'm really just going Mobius into the Iron Patriot location to see if we, you know, do anything plausible. No reductions, but we're set up pretty nicely to go Wiccan here. And with Wiccan here, we're gonna just go with the location that's going to add some rocks. Wiccan in the right would have been interesting, but I didn't want a Wiccan to fall into Central Park on accident. I feel like that would have locked our location to a very bare minimum 13 power. That was very easy to beat. So, oh, I apologize, 14 power. I was talking like this is the OTA Wiccan. But that Mirage is going to take some Red Guardians from my hand, so that's going to be kind of scary. And now he's flooding his hand with Toxin. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do this with my hand, just because I like to keep some flexibility with other cards. As you can see, and now I'm just about to just wreck his field with a Gore. Gore is a really great card as well. But side note, I was very disappointed in Gore in Thor: Love and Thunder. The state of the MCU movies is a topic for another day, but if you have an opinion, throw it in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Do not forget, this is your favorite Fish Can Snap. Many more to come. Many more to come. Now, back to this game. Final match, 8 cubes. Gore is putting in tremendous work, and then this is where Alioth will be putting in the most work. Basically is going to boost the Gore up as well. My opponent can't do anything, and we are robbing this man for his 8 cubes, high and dry. So one day when I can actually show my collection, Sasquatch is one of the few cards I actually do not own. So look at that. Thank you for the round of applause for the 8 cubes. The Ink Hawkeye is just so good. Don't get me started. And oh, speaking of Alioth, we're going against Alioth. I will say, avatars in Marvel Snap as a reward is one of the silliest things I have to say. Pulling it from a catch or just getting it on a random Tuesday is just not the greatest. Fish Can Snap, as it having fish in the name, it led me to getting a Namor. Also have a Mysterio, as well as a Infinite Conquest avatars. I like Namor just because it fits with the brand, and I do like Mysterio because he has a fishbowl on his head. So what can I say? They're the only two guys I have, but I hope to get more in the future. So going back to this match, this is looking like a Captain America ongoing deck, possibly. We're just trying our best here with no cost 3. We're just not going to get our Wiccan off this game, so we will make use of what we have. Yep, Cosmo. So yeah, it's looking more of an ongoing deck in my opinion. But we are utilizing this last spot of his, so he shouldn't be able to use it, hopefully. There's not too much I can really do here, especially because it will get moved to the middle. He is snapping, so I will be snapping as well. This will be 8 cubes, win or loss, and this is where I don't know how to retreat, so maybe we will retreat in the next video. No, but honestly, when you can recognize that you may not have the game in hand, retreating's your best friend. Nothing like losing 2 cubes versus 8. Me, I just kind of played through bad hands just for the experience. I know that's not like the ideal way to play, but it's just, I would like to say is something that has improved me. Here, as you can see, I'm just trying to really gamble with the situation I'm given. I'm hoping I can slow them down to some extent. I figured they'll be playing 1 card just so they can affect their doom now. And yeah, this is definitely ongoing. I mean, we're not looking the greatest, but with this being said, I feel like I could have a chance. Let's see if we can pull this out, but one thing I will say is my biggest weakness as a Marvel Snap player is I do not retreat enough. I will say retreating is your best friend because losing 8 cubes is tough, man. Let's see what happens, and not looking good. Yeah, I don't think I got this. I'm glad to end like this just to show that we are all human. This game is all about having fun, and no matter how much we do this, you win some, you lose some, but never forget this game is all about having fun. But with that, that's all I have for this video. Expect more to come, possibly getting infinite with this list. I thank you for the time. Subscribe, like, and don't miss out on the next one. Fish Can Snap, bye.